And then once Francis started to break his legs down, that's really it, man. It was Francis's athleticism and his eyes. It's like, hey, punch him under his armpits, break him back down, rinse and repeat. And Dan Bergliata must have owed him money.
All right, let us say hello to Eric Nicksick, who was in the corner of one Francis Ngannou Saturday in Saudi Arabia, the Battle of the Giants PFL pay-per-view event. As we all know, Francis Ngannou's return to MMA was a successful one as he brutally knocks out Renan Ferreira, nasty ground and pound in round one. And now Eric joins us from Abu Dhabi because this man never freaking stops. How are you, man?
I'm good, brother. I just caught a little nap. So catching up with my boy Dan Ige out here in Abu Dhabi with the team now, and just excited to get back to work.
I mean, just going through just a normal fight in Saudi Arabia and then having to fly to Abu Dhabi that pretty much hours later, that is taxing in itself, right? And then just going through this entire fight week and having to deal with the emotions that ran through that entire fight week and then the fight on Saturday and the fallout of it. Was this the most emotional fight week of your coaching career? Because you've been a part of a few and you've been a part of a couple with Francis himself, but did this top the list for you once you got to Saudi Arabia?
I think so. I think like Dan and I are just kind of talking about that, the heaviness of the process. I think for me, it was like really just trying to keep my head level, because Francis was really dealing with a lot, obviously, but I think fight week added another layer of pressure. So the team, myself, Dewey, Tripp, everybody in the around him, we tried to make sure that we had a level head, and it was heavy, bro. The whole week was heavy. So, just seeing him get that win and seeing him get that off of his chest was a relief in itself.
Because you could see it as Francis was kind of doing media throughout the week. He was, doing everything. He was being very, very thoughtful about his answers. But you could tell the eyes, the emotions were behind those eyes, and there was a lot of depth to what was going on. That he was kind of talking about certain things, but he wasn't letting it all out. And then Friday, when they had the ceremonial weigh-in, Francis looked jacked up and ready to go. He got real intense. They went nose to nose, started talking a little bit. It was a different Francis. It was a guy who was just like, all right, enough with the talk, enough with the interviews, enough with the media. I'm ready to fight. Did you notice a difference in him from Thursday to Friday heading into Saturday?
Oh, you nailed it. That dude, after that ceremonial weigh-in, that woke him up. Like, he was like, all right, motherfucker. And he said that. We were there. He's like, the king is back. I'm going to show this guy what's up. And I'm like, hell yeah. Like, it had an energy to it. And I was like, we all were kind of happy that Renan did that. We were all kind of happy that he got in his face, and whatever it did, it woke the giant up.
So, yeah. So immediately you were like, in your eyes as the coach and dealing, kind of trying to find your place in all the emotional baggage of all of this, this is the moment for you where it's like, okay, we've hit that next level officially.
I think all of us felt that, like myself, Dewey, even Francis, and once that happened, once he kind of like, that was Renan's energy towards Francis, I was kind of excited. I was like, oh, I'm glad he did this, because this is the kick in the ass that we kind of needed, or the wake up call that we needed. I think Francis knew, like, okay, I'm in a fight with a scary dude, but he said that right away. He's like, I'm going to show this guy what's up.
I asked you prior to the fight, one of the last questions I asked you about Francis before we moved on to other things was, true or false, more than 25% of this fight will take place with wrestling or groundwork. And you said true immediately. So Francis goes in and he shoots for this takedown. This is obviously part of the plan, right? Just look for your moment and land that big shot. He landed some heavy leg kicks too, just some nasty ones. But that moment where he shot for the takedown, I recalled our conversation when you said that immediately. When you saw that, you're just like, all right, this is going exactly the way we wanted it to.
We just knew that there was a least evasive path to victory. Like, we knew that we can have the advantage in a certain spot that I just felt like our guy was better in that area. We went back and watched the tape, and where Renan had problems, like Ante Delia took him down and held him down. and beat him on the ground. Now, can he have improved his ground game since then? Yes, of course. But that was something we definitely wanted to test. Got on the phone with Randy, my mentor, talked to Randy quite a bit about what I thought the best path to victory, and of course, Randy has to stay in the middle because he's an analyst for them, but like, he's also my big brother and my mentor. But I like to run him any game plans. I like to run through Randy and just get his thoughts, because sometimes you get tunnel vision on things. But that was something that Francis in his heart felt that he could exploit. And that was not necessarily the game plan, but that was what we were going to lean on once it presented itself. And that's what we talked to him about. Hey, just take your time and find your openings. And if it presents itself, go ahead and put him on his back. And that's exactly what happened.
And then he was very patient too. And when he found his spots, he unloaded. And there was a point where he put a hook in, and I'm thinking to myself as I'm watching it live, like, is he going to submit Renan Ferreira right now? Because it would have just been such a surreal moment. What are you saying to him as he's on top of him and staying so patient? Because especially with all the emotion that has come into this fight, you would think like maybe he just goes bananas and burns himself out, perhaps landing those big shots. What are you thinking? What are you trying to say to him in that moment?
We usually say pit stops. Like we say hit a pit stop, meaning like, so Randy would always talk about, and Robert Follis would always talk about like a teeter-totter on damage versus control. So like, you're always trying to keep that in homeostasis. Like, you're not trying to go too far one or the other. So when you start to go heavy damage, you're going to lose on control. And then if you're heavy on control, you're not going to get any damage off. So you just have to be able to find that balance between the two. So that was really it. Just like once he had, the biggest thing for me, we talked about all camp, was isolating legs. If you notice in the fight, Francis either had a half guard, or he had a Turk, or he had like a staple. He was always riding a leg. And when it comes to big guys and their get-ups, they usually have a traditional where they get belly down, they build their base, and they stand up because they're so big. They're not these like technical get-up guys. So knowing that, I think if we were able to isolate legs, a lot of like what we did versus Cyril Gahn, that's where Francis is going to have his best success. And then once Francis started to break his legs down, that's really it, man. It was Francis's athleticism and his eyes. It's like, hey, punch him under his armpits, break him back down, rinse and repeat. And Dan Bergliata must have owed him money. You let that go, bro. I was like, damn, man.
It was crazy because he was out like 3 punches before he stopped it. It was, even watching the replay, what else did you need to see? Like, Renan is motionless on the floor with his face like in the mat. And then Francis hit him that one last time. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
It was right in front of me, Michael. It was like right to my left. And I jumped up prematurely because I saw his body just go limp. And I'm like, all right, dude, it's out. It's over. And then Bergliata just standing there still. So the fight's over. And I went up to Dan. I was like, damn, early stoppage. He's like one of those things. I'm like, fuck, dude, this guy was dead.
That last flurry, you could almost see it, right? You could see the emotion, the anger almost that came out in those shots. It's not exactly the same. What the hell is that? We got balloons flying. But anyways, it was like Ralphie in A Christmas Story when he finally tackles the bully, and all that pent up aggression that was inside of him, he's just unloading on this dude over and over again. And he's just saying things and just letting it all out. And it kind of reminded me of that. You could just see sort of all the weight falling off of his shoulders as every punch is landing. So yes, you jumped up prematurely. You thought the fight was over when you saw him go limp, but watching that all after everything you guys have gone through together, what was that like for you?
It's heavy, like I've never jumped a cage before, ever. So like, I don't even like my emotions were like, I just wanted to get to my guy. That was it. Like, and Dewey's like, damn, why I never see you jump a cage like that? I was gone. I was like, oh shit, are we gonna get fined? Like, I was like so nervous, but like in the moment, it's like, dude, I just wanted to hug him. That was all I kept thinking. Man, I just want to get to my guy. I just want to hug him. Just want to tell him I love him. I even like before we left for the venue, we met with the family, the extended family, and we had like this it's kind of like a private little room area, and everybody said a prayer. Everybody said a moment of encouragement to Francis. It was beautiful, bro. And then Francis spoke and he cried. Like he let out a lot of this emotion right before we left for the fight. You know what I mean? And he said, "This is for Kobe." And dude, there wasn't a dry eye in that room. Like we were all emotionally attached to the situation. And, you know, just I couldn't be happier for him in a time that just of still of grieving, you know. So it was an honor to be by his side.
Yeah, the emotions poured out everybody. You do like everybody in the cage. Even after Francis spoke, Don Davis had some tears in his eyes. Everything. Yeah, I know you said you wanted to get in there, hug him, and say that you loved him, but it was sort of a viral moment, at least on that we posted on social media. Is you were sitting there, you were saying something, you were whispering in his ear. Besides telling him you loved him, what else did you say to him in that moment? Can you share that, or is that between the two of you guys?
Um, yeah, I mean, it was nothing that like is too of importance. It was just, you know, I had put a wristband on my hand and I wrote the number 8 for Kobe Bryant. That's what who Kobe was named after. It's Kobe Bryant. You know, I held up the wristband and I said that one's for Kobe. You know, and there wasn't a lot being said, but just more just yeah, just hugs, man.
Yeah, what a performance. Because I'd asked you heading into the fight, do you think he boxes or do you think he does MMA? And you thought he would go back to boxing. And then we talked about how excited you would be if it was Deontay Wilder.
Yeah.
But at this point, I almost feel like it's unfair to try to figure out what's next for Francis, right? Because he went through so much on the road to get here. And I feel like that road is going to be still very bumpy for the rest of his life, trying to think about all of this. So it's almost like unfair to kind of predict the short-term future for Francis Ngannou at this moment, right? Have you guys even talked about that?
Man, like we didn't really say much of anything. It was so weird because we won a world title last night and it didn't feel like the title didn't matter at all. Like I didn't even see the belt. Like usually we're taking a picture with the belt. Like that was an afterthought. This was a win for Kobe. That was all we cared about was to get this done for Kobe. And once it was done, bro, honestly, Mike, we grabbed our shit and left. Like it was very different. Because I don't think the win can ever replace anything, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, man. It was very different. It's very different. Like we were like, oh, we won a world title. It didn't even cross our mind. It's like, you know, this was for Kobe. This was for our boy Francis, and um, I didn't think he was ever going to fight again after you know Kobe's passing. I didn't think he was going to fight again. So, you know, for him to be able to turn around and then go out and perform the way that he did versus a high level opponent, you know, I couldn't be happier for him.
Couple last quick things. I want to talk about another viral thing on social media that I saw, and it involved you sitting in the locker room with Francis Ngannou and Ronaldo, and it was just a terrific photo. What have your comment? What is the comment section been like to that photo? Because it's just so amazing. It's just you and Francis and freaking Ronaldo sitting in the locker room.
I haven't really been catching up much on social, but it was cool. And man, let me tell you this though. Like I know how big of a star Ronaldo, a worldwide star this man is, bro. He was one of the coolest, most humble human beings I've ever met. Knowing the level of stardom this man has, we sat for 30 minutes, just me and him, just chopping it up like one of the fellas. And he's like, yo, what's the game plan? What are you thinking with this? What do you want to do with this? Okay. And I'm just talking to him like I would be talking to you right now. And like never even crossed my mind. So we're chatting. And then my wife calls me to because Knox wants to wish Francis good luck. So I'm FaceTiming with my wife. I give Knox and Francis the phone, and Knox is talking to Francis for a second. I get the phone back. I sit back down, and I'm like, oh, hey, babe, say what's up to Ronaldo. And my wife's like, hi. I was like, all right, babe. We gotta go. But man, like if people are out there that listen to this and you're a Ronaldo fan, you picked the right guy. I mean, just an amazing human being. He shared some personal things that, I wasn't aware of. Like he had some tragedies in his life with the passing of a child. And dude, we sat there for 30 minutes and just talked about life. And he was one of the coolest. Like I left there going like, oh, I got a new best friend.
That's so cool, man.
Ronaldo are gonna hang out later. Like, no, he was great.
That's awesome. Last thing before I let you go, you're in Saudi Arabia or Abu Dhabi, excuse me. You were in Saudi Arabia yesterday. Now you're in Abu Dhabi. Dan Ige getting back in there against Lerone Murphy. Fun ass fight.
Come here.
Oh, Danny are we gonna get a celebrity appearance here?
And shirtless Dan Ige. Look at this guy.
Shirtless Dan Ige. How we doing, man?
Hey, good, man. How are you, Mike?
Good. 6 days away from this fight with Lerone Murphy. This is a good one, man.
Yeah, dude. Feeling good. Excited. Papa's here. I don't know, man. It's a fight. We're gonna go out there and do our thing, and build that momentum, and do some great things.
What he doesn't know is that he's fighting Hamzat. He doesn't know that yet, though.
Oh.
We're gonna tell him in the locker room.
I'm good.
Dan, while I have you, Francis Ngannou set the table for you incredibly nice last night with this win over. What was that like for you to watch and see everything unfold with Francis and what he did last night?
I mean, I was sleeping, and when I woke up, first thing I did, I went on Twitter, and it's like I ignored my whole morning routine, went on Twitter just to scroll real quick, and I saw they got the dub, then I saw the highlight, and I texted Eric right away. I sent him a heart, and it's just, it feels good. I'm really happy for Francis, and I mean, I'm emotional, just even being a father, I can't even fathom, but I know how much that meant to him, and I know how special it was. And then selfishly, obviously, for me, it's like to even have E coming here, like coming off a win, like I know that's a huge relief, and just bringing that energy. Now we keep the ball rolling, keep the momentum rolling. That was a huge fight for Francis, and they got the win, and now it's my turn. It's my fight week. So I'm really, really happy for Francis. I'm really happy for Eric, and I'm happy for Francis's whole entire team. But I have a job to do now, and we're gonna go get another one.
Must be nice to not have to do it on 2 hours notice, right? Like the last one.
Yeah, for real. I mean, I was just telling Eric that because we're talking about, like, I'm not being super strict about training at this exact time that I'm gonna fight. He's like, dude, you fought on a couple hours notice. Like, it doesn't matter. I train when I feel good. We're gonna train. We're gonna cut the weight. We're gonna weigh in, and we're gonna fight. Pretty simple. And I couldn't be more excited to go do it and strike another side of the world. So it'll be fun.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for popping in. Eric, I'll let you go as well. Thank you so much. I know you want to get a little nap or two in because you deserve it, man. Congratulations to you and Francis and the rest of the squad, man. So go take that well-deserved nap, my friend. Appreciate your time, and I appreciate you doing this.
Always, Mike. Thanks for the love and support, my brother. Good talking to you.